listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 14. We're continuing in the book of Genesis in chapters 29 to 30. Now you all remember Jacob. He was a sneaky little guy who tricked his father and his brother into getting their birthright. Well, this slickster, who had a dream of angels climbing up the stairs in heaven, ends up having sex with not one, or two, or three, but 4 different women and having children from them all. Of course, he did have to work 14 years of hard labor. But as you hear the interchange between the older daughter, Leah, and the younger daughter, Rachel, the important part to remember is that Jacob really wanted the younger one, Rachel. And Rachel didn't have any children until the very end when she gives birth to Joseph. So of all the kids Jacob has, Joseph is the only child between him and the woman he loved, Rachel. It's important because this will come into play later in the Bible. And in chapter 30, the story changes to another trick Jacob plays. This time it's on Laban, and it has to deal with sheep. Jacob must be a pretty smart guy because he knows all about genetics and heredity, and he's able to breed his sheep to be stronger than Laban's. And at the end of the day, that's one of the main points we can get from chapter 30. We're also continuing in the New Testament in the book of Matthew. Jesus finishes speaking to the people about John the Baptist, and then he has a warning for everyone who rejects him as Christ. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Genesis chapter 29. Jacob meets Rachel. And Jacob continued his journey until he reached the land where the eastern people lived. There he saw a well in an open field. 3 flocks of sheep were lying near the well. They had come for water from the well, which was covered with a large rock. The shepherds there always waited for the flocks to gather before they rolled the rock away. Then, after all the sheep finished drinking, they put the rock back over the well. And Jacob asked the shepherds,
"Brothers, where are you from?"
They answered,
"We are from Haran."
Then Jacob said,
"Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?"
The shepherds answered, "We know him." Jacob said,
"How is he?"
They said,
"He is well, and now here comes his daughter, Rachel, with his sheep."
Jacob said,
"Look, it's too early to gather all the animals for the night. There is still plenty of daylight left. So why don't you go ahead and give them water and let them go back to their pasture?"
But they said,
"We cannot do that until all the flocks are gathered here. Then we will roll the rock away from the well and give all the sheep water."
While Jacob was still talking with the shepherds, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep because she had the job of caring for the sheep. Rachel was the daughter of Laban, the brother of Jacob's mother, Rebekah. When Jacob saw Rachel with her father's sheep, he went and moved the rock and gave water to the sheep. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and cried because he was so happy. He told her that he was from her father's family, a son of Rebekah. So Rachel ran home and told her father. When Laban heard the news about his nephew Jacob, he ran to meet him. Laban hugged him and kissed him and brought him to his house. There Jacob told Laban all about himself. Then Laban said,
"You are welcome. I accept you as one of my own family."
So Jacob stayed with Laban for a month. Laban tricks Jacob. One day Laban said to Jacob,
"You are my relative. That does not mean you should work for nothing. How much should I pay you?"
Now Laban had 2 daughters. The older was Leah, and the younger was Rachel. Leah had lovely eyes, but Rachel was beautiful in more ways than one. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said to Laban,
I will work 7 years for you if you will let me marry your younger daughter, Rachel.
Laban said,
I would rather let her marry you than anyone else. So stay here and work for me.
So Jacob worked 7 years for Laban, but it seemed like a very short time because he loved Rachel so much. After 7 years, Jacob said to Laban,
My time is up. Give me the wife you promised so that we can come together in marriage.
So Laban invited everyone for a big wedding feast. That night, Laban took his daughter Leah, not Rachel, to Jacob to be his wife, and Jacob had sex with her. Laban also gave his slave woman Zilpah to Leah to be her servant. In the morning, Jacob saw that it was Leah he had sex with, and he said to Laban,
Why did you do this to me? I worked hard for you so that I could marry Rachel. Why did you trick me?
Laban said,
In our country, we don't allow the younger daughter to marry before the older daughter. Stay with Leah the full week of the marriage celebration, and I will let you marry Rachel too. But then, you must work for me another 7 years.
So Jacob agreed and finished the week with Leah. Then Laban let him marry his daughter Rachel. Laban also gave his slave woman Bilhah to Rachel to be her servant. So Jacob also had sex with Rachel, and he loved her more than Leah. He then worked for Laban another 7 years. Jacob's family grows. When the Lord saw that Jacob did not love Leah very much, he made her able to have children, but Rachel could not get pregnant. Leah had a son. She named him Reuben. She named him this because she said,
The Lord has seen my troubles. Now I feel sure my husband will love me.
Leah became pregnant again and had another son. She named this son Simeon. She said,
The Lord has heard that I am not loved, so he gave me this son.
Leah became pregnant again and had another son. She named this son Levi. She said,
Now I am sure my husband will love me. I have given him 3 sons.
Then Leah had another son. She named this son Judah. Leah named him this because she said,
Now I will praise the Lord.
Then Leah stopped having children. Genesis chapter 30. Rachel had not been able to have children for Jacob as Leah had. So Rachel became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob,
If you don't give me children, I will die.
This made Jacob angry, and he said to Rachel,
I am not God. He is the one who keeps you from having children.
Then Rachel said,
You can have my slave woman Bilhah. Sleep with her, and she will have a child for me. I can have my own family through her.
So Rachel gave Bilhah as a wife to her husband Jacob. He had sex with Bilhah. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son for Jacob. Rachel said,
God has listened to my prayer. He decided to give me a son.
So she named this son Dan. Bilhah became pregnant again and gave Jacob a second son. Rachel said,
I have fought hard to compete with my sister, and I have won.
So she named that son Naphtali. Leah saw that she could have no more children, so she gave her slave woman Zilpah as a wife to Jacob. Then Zilpah had a son. Leah said,
I am lucky.
So she named the son Gad. Zilpah had another son. Leah said,
I am very happy. Now women will call me happy.
So she named that son Asher. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went into the fields and found some plants called mandrakes. He brought them to his mother Leah, but Rachel said to Leah,
Please give me some of your son's mandrakes.
Leah answered,
You have already taken away my husband. Don't ask me for my son's mandrakes too.
but Rachel answered,
If you will give me your son's mandrakes, you can sleep with Jacob tonight.
When Jacob came in from the fields that night, Leah went out to meet him. She said,
You will sleep with me tonight. I have paid for you with my son's mandrakes.
So Jacob had sex with Leah that night. God answered Leah's prayer, and she became pregnant again. She had a fifth son. She said,
God has rewarded me for giving my slave woman to my husband as a wife.
So she named her son Issachar. Leah became pregnant again and had a sixth son. She said,
God has given me a wonderful gift, and now my husband will honor me for giving him 6 sons.
So she named this son Zebulun. Later, Leah had a daughter. She named her Dinah. Then God also showed his care for Rachel. He heard her prayer and made her able to have children. She became pregnant and had a son. She said,
God has taken away my shame.
Rachel named the son Joseph, saying,
May the Lord give me another son.
Jacob tricks Laban. After the birth of Joseph, Jacob said to Laban,
Now, let me go back to my own homeland. Let me take my wives and my children and go. With all the work I have done for you, I have earned the right to take them. You know I have served you well.
Laban said to him,
Please, let me say something. I know that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Tell me how much I owe you. I will pay whatever you ask.
Jacob answered,
You know that I have worked hard for you. Your flocks have grown and been well while I cared for them. When I came, you had little. Now you have much, much more. Every time I did something for you, the Lord blessed you. Now it is time for me to work for myself and my own family.
Laban asked.
Then what should I give you?
Jacob answered,
I don't want you to pay me anything, but if you will do one thing for me, I will continue to take care of your sheep. I ask you to let me go through all your flocks today and make out every sheep that is spotted or speckled and every black lamb. Let me take out every spotted or speckled goat. That will be my pay. In the future, when you look at the flocks I took as pay, you can easily see if I have been honest. If I have any animals that are not spotted or speckled, or any lamb that is not black, you will know I stole it.
Laban answered,
I agree to that. We will do what you ask.
That day Laban hid all the male goats with stripes or spots, and he hid all the female goats that had spots or specks, including any with white on them. He also hid all the black sheep. Laban told his sons to watch these sheep. So the sons took all the spotted animals and led them to another place. They traveled for 3 days. Jacob stayed and took care of all the animals that were left. Jacob cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees. He peeled strips of the bark away from the white wood so that the branches had white stripes on them. He put the branches in front of the flocks at the watering places. When the animals came to drink, they also mated in that place. When the animals mated in front of the branches, the young that were born were streaked, speckled, or spotted. Jacob separated the young animals from the others in the flock. When these others were ready to mate, he made them face the streaked and black animals in Laban's flock. By doing this, Jacob created his own flock, keeping his animals separate from Laban's. Anytime the stronger animals in the flock were mating, Jacob put the branches in front of them at the drinking place. He wanted to make sure the animals mated near those branches. But when the weaker animals mated, Jacob did not put the branches there. So the young animals born from the weak animals were Laban's. The young animals born from the stronger animals were Jacob's. In this way, Jacob became very rich. He had large flocks of sheep and goats, many camels and donkeys. and many male and female slaves. Matthew chapter 11, verses 16 to 30. Jesus is talking to the people about John the Baptist. What can I say to describe the people who live today? They're like children, sitting in the marketplace and whining at their friends. We played flute music for you, but you would not dance. We sang a funeral song, but you would not cry. Why do I say people are like that? Because John came and did not eat the usual food or drink wine, and people say he has a demon inside him. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and people say, look at him, he eats too much and drinks too much wine. He's a friend of tax collectors and other sinners. But wisdom is shown to be right by what it does. Warning for those who reject Jesus. Then Jesus criticized the cities where he did most of his miracles. He criticized these cities because the people there did not change their lives and stop sinning. And Jesus said, it will be bad for you, Chorazin. It will be bad for you, Bethsaida. I did many miracles in you. If these same miracles had happened in Tyre and Sidon, the people there would have changed their lives a long time ago. They would have worn rags and put dirt on themselves to show that they were sorry for their sins. I tell you, on the day of judgment, it will be worse for you than for the people of Tyre and Sidon. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted up to heaven? No, you will be thrown down to the place of death. I did many miracles in you. If these same miracles had happened in Sodom, the people there would have stopped sinning, and it would still be a city today. But I tell you, it will be worse for you on the day of judgment than for Sodom. Then Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. I am thankful that you have hidden these things from those who are so wise and so smart. But you have shown them to be people who are like little children. Yes, Father, you did this because it's what you really wanted to do. My Father has given me everything. No one knows the Son. Only the Father knows the Son. And no one knows the Father. Only the Son knows the Father. And the only people who will know about the Father are those the Son chooses to tell. Come to me, all of you who are tired from the heavy burden you have been forced to carry. I will give you rest. Accept my teaching. Learn from me. I am gentle and humble in spirit, and you will be able to get some rest. Yes, the teaching that I ask you to accept is easy. The load I give you to carry is light. Psalm chapter 9, verses 7 through 12. The Lord set up his throne to bring justice, and he will rule forever. He judges everyone on earth fairly. He judges all nations honestly. Many people are suffering, crushed by the weight of their troubles. But the Lord is a refuge for them, a safe place they can run to. Lord, those who know your name trust in you. And when they come to you, you do not leave them without help. Sing praises to the Lord, who sits as king in Zion. Tell the nations about the great things he has done. He punishes murderers and remembers those who are in need. When suffering people cry for help, he does not ignore them. Thank you, everyone. That was day 14. Join us for day 15. Jacob's tricks catch up to him, and now he's on the run. And Jesus is confronted by the Pharisees for not following the law of the Sabbath day. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.